We have almost completed a journey throughout our solar system. But there's no way we can step further into the interstellar space or even closer to a star before we got to know our home planet better. The first episode of the series was about Earth. We discussed just how many circumstances have to align to make it an habitable planet. Think about its perfect location, the magnetic shield, or Jupiter's protective influence. But what we discussed was just the present of our Earth. It's obviously worth exploring how this green-blue marble evolved to what it is now. It took eons for the Sun to form from a nebula. It also took a long period of time for rocks, dust, and other elements to stick together and become what we call planets. If we orbited our home planet 4.5 billion years ago, we would have not seen anything near the attractive world we know now. We would see a glowing ball of molten rocks. This was the Hadean Eon. Sometime then, a Mars-sized protoplanet, which we today name Theia, was locked to a collision course with Earth. It hit the planet's side at 40,000 kilometers per hour. Theia was destroyed, but Earth was almost torn to pieces as well. Rocks and debris formed a ring of fire around the planet. But in a short period of time, a few hundred years or maybe 1,000, our moon was formed. And the satellite was a great gift because it stabilized the planet's axial tilt as well as its climate. And this was not the only advantage of this disaster. The Earth then was about 80% of its today's mass. When Theia collided with it, it enriched it with iron, increasing the Earth's metallic core, thanks to which we have our today's magnetosphere. Following the moon's formation, the Earth started cooling slowly, very slowly. At the other side of our star system, Jupiter's and Saturn's gravity sent thousands of celestial bodies to the inner solar system. And that's when the period of late heavy bombarding began. It means that Earth was hit by innumerable comets and asteroids. Earth's crust was reshaped over and over. But these impacts had probably brought the greatest gift the planet has ever received, because they brought water, methane, ammonia, and complex molecules. That is life, maybe even our ancestors. But that's a topic of a different episode. Comets are made of ice. When ice entered Earth's extremely hot atmosphere, it melted, enveloping the planet into steam, or you can call it clouds. When temperature dropped, to 100 Celsius, rain started falling and didn't stop for thousands of years. But do not be misled. This was not the nutritious rain we need so badly today in times of drought. Earth's circumstances were much like Venusian circumstances because the air was made of methane and carbon dioxide. The sky was orange. Oceans, although the rain created the first global oceans and filled basins with liquid, these oceans were also made of dissolved iron. But if you imagine that no life is possible in these toxic circumstances, you are wrong. The first single-celled organism already started inhabiting our planet. And about 2 billion years ago, there was something we can call a rebellion, which was not organized by intelligent species, but by cyanobacteria. These creatures developed a superpower, which we today call photosynthesis. That is, they learned how to convert sunlight and water into energy. But there was a byproduct of this process: free oxygen. It sounds good, doesn't it? But 99% of Earth inhabitants back in those days were anaerobic. It means that oxygen was toxic for them. To cut a long story short, oxygen caused one of the greatest extinctions, and that wasn't all. Oxygen leaked into the atmosphere, and as it reacted with methane, the greenhouse effect subsided. It all happened very fast. Earth was not kept warm any longer. Temperature began dropping way too fast. Ice sheets advanced from the poles toward the equator. So both oceans and the surface started freezing. As the surface froze, it reflected sunlight, which means it bounced solar radiation back into space. As a consequence, Earth cooled even furthermore. There was the period we call now the Snowball Earth. There are lots of such snowballs in space and in our solar system. So this could have been the end of their story, but it was not. Thanks to Earth, plate tectonics and internal heat. Earthquakes are disasters, but back then volcanoes, which caused them, were the saving grace. The immense pressure of gases of these volcanoes made their way through the crust at first, and then through the kilometer-thick ice. And as more and more and more of them broke through, more and more carbon dioxide leaked into the atmosphere. What does carbon dioxide cause? Yes, a greenhouse effect. And this was the most dramatic greenhouse effect in Earth history. But this greenhouse effect literally saved lives. Oceans were sealed, but life deep within, where water did not freeze, was not over. After the Great Thaw, this life did not only survive, but started evolving with crazy speed. The time of single-celled organism was over. Multicellular beings appeared, and the currently known evolution started. Over hundreds of millions of years, life conquered the whole planet. And eventually, dinosaurs evolved. And they ruled the planet up till 66 million years ago, when an asteroid 10 kilometers across hit today's Yucatan Peninsula. 75% of all living creatures died out, but it was not the asteroid's impact that caused this wave of extinction, but its consequences. Because as dust, ash, and other debris filled the air, it led to nuclear winter. The food chain collapsed, photosynthesis collapsed. Dinosaurs had no chance to survive. But as we've seen a few times in this episode, a catastrophe in the short run doesn't mean a disaster in the long run, just vice versa. Just imagine. Dinosaurs were apex predators. Everything else lived in hiding. So if they didn't die out, we would have no chance to inhabit Earth. We would be like rodent or bats hiding somewhere. So this was kind of a evolutionary or cosmic reset in the history of our planet. Currently, we are top predators. We built pyramids, we conquered seas, the air, and now we are about to conquer space. But where do we come from? Religious people believe we were created. Followers of classical science believe in Darwin's evolution. I don't believe in either. Because yes, there is a third option. And if you want to know what the third option is, you'll have to subscribe, because that will be the topic of our next episode.